When I first saw the first episode of 3%, I was immediately reminded of the movie called The Island. On the island, there is this utopia that people are dreaming of coming into because their dreams are going to come true there. Everything will be fine there. Because of that plot twist in The Island, I was scared that this might actually happen in 3% as well. That if I invest my time into these characters and I begin loving and hating them, then I found out at the end that the island is not real. I feel like I was scammed and I don't want to feel that. So I was like, am I gonna watch this? But thankfully towards the end, in the middle of the first episode and the second episode rolled in, I kind of understood that the place that they want to go to, the utopia itself, is actually real. We have cast and characters in the actual episodes that live there, that are selecting people to live in the utopia that everyone is talking about. Hi, I'm MC Lorenzo. Today we're reviewing the sci-fi dystopian mystery TV series 3%. Most of the episodes focuses on the candidates in trying their best to get into that 3% and trying to finish all of the trials. And we see a bit of their background, why are they there, and their plights and their dreams as well. With the way the character of Michelle is set up at the start, I felt like there was something wrong with how she was executed in the storylines. We see her do a lot of really bad things, a lot of plotting, conniving, and she's really after that revenge. Then we see a bit of her soft side as well, falling in love with one of the characters, doing the right things, and that kind of, duality of being a person after, revenge and being a soft person who cares about people. I just felt like it's a little bit too bipolar. And it felt like maybe the character is bipolar, but it just didn't sell me as a heroine. Like, I wanted to root for her as an anti-hero or a heroine. It was never really put together in one way or the other. It was kind of both. And I was struggling to find that emotion, that feeling where I could root for her in doing one thing only, because I want her to be, vengeful. At the same time, I just want her to fall in love. It's kind of confusing. These kind of different emotions should have been just on one side, not confuse me on the other. I hope if there was a character who was a little bit soft in the story, that would have been the champion of all our emotions, going through that character and not just, mixing up with Michelle all the time. For Raphael, coming into the first episode, he immediately was the bad guy of the group. He is the person who will do anything to pass, who will cheat, who will make stuff up. He will just make things happen, even though they're ethically wrong and morally wrong. And I like that he was that conflict in the story. Like, he came in fast and hard and just do everything he wanted. He just wanted to, cheat at the first trial, and then the second time he was just really, not having it from people. He doesn't care if people, treat him like trash. He knows that he will do what he thinks is right, even though other people think it is wrong. And I like how that character is. Similarly to Michelle, he has that moments that he is soft. There are moments that his emotions get the best of him, that he can't help to be kind and help people as well. But towards the other scenes that we see him in, it's not that much of a detriment or a deviation from his true nature of getting the things that he wants, because he can do it. For Michelle and Raphael, right at the start, these characters are very polar opposites. They have different things in mind. And towards in the middle and the end, you find out they're kind of similar and they have, goals that are aligned. But at the end, I was kind of dissatisfied of where their stories ended. I was like, why this? It just felt dissatisfying. I know it might be a catch for season 2. It might be something that audiences would latch onto, like this dissatisfaction of their characters. There has to be something more for them. But the way it felt like, it just doesn't feel like it is. Like, I hope there was something, more to these characters than just that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see in season 2. I like the character of Fernando because of his disability. That one thing already makes him a lot more interesting. Furthermore, when I delved into his storylines, I discovered that he is really, content. He is okay with being disabled. He doesn't think that it is a disability. He believes it is a part of who he is. Though most of the people around him don't think so, even his father doesn't think so. So the push of his father telling him to get into the 3%, get into the process, because there might be a way for him to walk again. That concept and dream itself was more of the father's dream rather than Fernando himself. I like how Fernando is a smart person, and being smart, he discovers a lot of different things about himself, of whether this process is right for him. And I really love his character evolution from the start until the finish. I think this character storyline was very satisfying. One of the best scenes that I think I like about Fernando and something to watch for was him using the disability card. He doesn't really like using pity for him. He's that much prideful of himself, and he doesn't think it's a disability. So when he used that card to get into the process, to get people to pity him and like him, it feels really nice for him, because that in itself was hard for him, and watching him through that hardship was very entertaining. For Marco, I think he is one of the best characters in the series, especially the episode focusing on him. The way he changed from this golden child to this very toxic leader. I really like that change, and it really brought out the best in him. And the character changes and the acting itself, I really loved it. And I sort of wished at the end of the story, at the end of the episode itself, there was more of him. It was so different from the others, where he's really not that jaded. He truly feels that he belongs there, and he's already part of the 3%. And I like that. And I kind of wish he was in season 2. For Juliana, I kind of didn't understand her at first. I was really interested about her indifference about the whole process thing. Then I kind of discovered that she is clever, and she, does things differently, and she's very observant. And all of these things kind of have me rooting for the character. And then we get the episode towards the tunnel. I see more of her plight, and I discover a bit of her insights and her, driving reason for being in that process. At first, I was like, she's a good character. Then towards the end, I was like, wait, did you just do that? Oh my God, really? The way the character of Juliana surprises me with every episode was very delightful and entertaining to watch. I guess because at the start, she set the bar low, and she set the bar in kind of a weird, odd way. Then towards the middle, towards the end, she does all of these different things, and she has that one moral that she believes is true to herself from the start until the end, and I really like her for it. It was really awesome watching this character grow and, be in different situations and come out of them really strong. I give this a 3 out of 5. Though there is a lot of things that I really love about this series, there is just some things that I wasn't really happy about, especially with the villain of the story, who is Ezekiel, the process leader. Towards the series, we get a different sense of feeling of who he is. With Ezekiel, the first scene that we see him doing was him drowning himself in the sink. And at that point of time, the thing that registered in my head was that this person is crazy. So when you have someone like that who is a leader of an organization, you immediately think that this person in the story is a villain. We see him in the storyline, bullying the kids, pushing them into their limits towards inhuman things. And he's just happy about it. He just is okay with people hurting other people. And that is, for him, considers as a test of merit. And with something like that, with that kind of psychology, you are, for me at least, I really think that this person is a villain. What I hated about Ezekiel more was when he openly killed a candidate. He pressed a button to close a door, and that candidate got stuck in between the door when it was closing, so he died. In that scene, we see Ezekiel close his eyes when the character died. I was like, why are you even closing your eyes? You killed that person, so look at the person while he died. That's the least that you can do because you killed him. And I kind of hated that. I kind of hated that he still has this, threads of human emotion. Like, I didn't understand if he really is a killer, or he is trying to be human, or he's just way past that. I don't get the story for this person. And then there's this child that comes up, and he takes care of this child. He cares for this child. He feeds this child. And that itself kind of throws me off. Like, am I supposed to hate the character? Why are you letting me see a sort of soft side where he actually cares for the character? I just don't understand if I'm gonna hate the villain or not. Then there's this full episode of how Julia, Ezekiel's wife, died and how he came to be in that sort of dark position. And in that moment, I am already hating this character a lot, and I don't really care about his plight. I don't care about his circumstances of how he became like that. So for me, being focused on this character, I just felt like, no, I immediately took the remote and just, forwarded it, because I'm not going to have, spend my time looking at this character, trying to get to know a villain. I want him to die. I want the other characters, to defeat him, to put him out of his misery. That's what I want. And we get to the character of Aline. She has one purpose in the story, that is to depose of Ezekiel as a process leader. Because of the confusion about the character of Ezekiel, whether to like the character or hate him, I don't really know what to feel about Aline, because she is mostly against Ezekiel. Now, because of that, it's just a lot of confusion about the character of what I'm supposed to feel with this character. Am I supposed to feel their plight? Am I supposed to feel sorry for them? Am I supposed to root for them? It's just a lot of mess between the two characters. Also, with the way Aline acted and how she was presented, it was kind of not convincing. I don't know whether she's trying to be a boss or she's trying to be an underling, she's trying to be a detective, it felt like the archetypes she is trying to go for aren't really full. The story itself, the character itself, the way she was presented, the way she was created, it doesn't feel like it was right. Like, even at the end, is she someone who's power hungry, or she's just someone who wants to do good by the council? It's very kind of different. What would have been nice about the character of Aline is if she formed a pact with one of the characters. It could be one of the characters who is simply trying to get ahead, or one of the people who is part of the cause. And then the conflict surrounding the discovery of that person being part of the cause, it would have been so much interesting to follow. I like how the series presented herd mentality as a concept towards the process of 3%. They treated it as a religion that the people in itself believe it is the only way out. It is the only way towards salvation. It is the only way towards a better life. And I feel like all of these things, people not knowing the details of the process in itself, of why they do it, because everyone says it is the right thing, and because there are cases where people have better lives, it's the thing. It's gonna be the actual thing that people need to have, people dream of. And I like that sort of twisted way of showing it to us and showing it to the audiences. In the span of the series, there are different tests. One of the things that I really like about it was the purification ritual. It kind of gave me a glimpse and understanding of why everything is happening. And I was like, oh, I get it now. I get why, 3% exists and why, things are going the way it is. And it kind of gets me that understanding. And I hope maybe in the further seasons, I discover why they made this, why it happened in the first place. The concept of dystopia, the trials, the tests are not something new. There are a lot of series and movies that have already explained this. But what is different with 3% is that they are not put against a wall. They can leave if they want to. There's no gun up against their head. There's no prize money at the end. What it is given to them is a way of life, a better way of living from the start to the finish until they die. That in itself is a big reward. So that kind of difference in itself is something that you should definitely consider in getting into this series. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, go ahead and give me a like. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe. My favorite scene was when Juliana was trying to sleep with one of the candidates. It was a nice icebreaker from all this pressure and plight towards the test, passing the test, getting into the new world. It's really a nice icebreak from that, and it's nice that we can see some of their kinks and pleasures. Hi, I'm MC Lorenzo. Today we're reviewing the TV series Younger.